stop thoughts coming, but just trying to not follow them off down the rabbit hole and bring your attention back to the counting of your breath. So having said that, we're going to sit nice and tall, and if you're generally Western bodies have our back body is a bit tight, so our hamstrings and our buttocks, glutes. So if you sit up on a block, it can make it easier to have a straight spine. So you'll bring yourself to the edge of the block and cross your legs, so that your pelvis will tilt forward a little, and you can feel that little natural curve in the lower back. So you're able to sit a little taller without your hamstrings dragging your bottom under. So this helps you to sit a little straighter. And then when we're practicing our pranayama, which is our breath work, prana is your life force and yama is to control. That we'll close our eyes, rest your hands wherever in your lap or on your thighs so that you can feel your shoulders can be relaxed. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. And then I always give a ratio of the breath, so to count how long the inhale, how long the exhale. So we're just going to practice to breathe in for the count of 4, and that's your own count. And then you'll breathe out for your count of 6. And all the while trying to keep that uplift through the spine. And see if you can practice that yogic breath. So as you inhale, feel the tummy swelling out and the ribs lifting. And as you exhale, it's the reverse. Chest sinks and the navel draws towards the spine. And just 2 more rounds of the breath. And as you exhale the second time, you're going to lower your head and slowly blink your eyes open. And then looking forward, giving a bit of fragrance to the room to stop that smell of sweaty sock. So we're going to come off the block and lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then hug your right knee into your chest and let the left leg lie flat along the mat. And then draw the right thigh just to the outside of the right ribs, feeling the inner thigh lengthening. And then you're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee and draw that knee all the way across your body. So you can roll onto your left side, reach the right arm out to the side and turn your head to the right as you draw your leg to the left. Feeling the twist in the body, and then draw your knee back to center, hug both knees in again. And then you're going to straighten the right leg and let the left leg hug the left leg into your chest. And same thing, then draw the left leg out to the left side of the ribs. Just feeling a bit more compression in the thigh, lengthening of the inner thigh. And then the right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. And draw that foot across. And then inhale, bring both legs, both knees back to center. Little squeeze, and then drop your feet to the mat with your knees bent again. And then we're going to come into thread the needle, but slightly different to how we usually do this. So this is going to be lying on your back. You're going to cross the right ankle across the left knee. And then lift the left thigh and flex the right ankle so the toes point up to the ceiling. Your hands are going to take hold of the left back of the left thigh. So one hand will go between your legs. And then straighten the left leg up to the ceiling. And as you draw that left thigh towards you, you're trying to ground the back of the hips, but feeling the lengthening in the outer hip. And then we're going to do ankle rotation. So just point and flex and rotate the ankle, just wiggle it all directions. Back the other way, so just feeling as you do the little hip stretch, feeling into that as well, and then exhale, release. Bring the feet down and then cross left ankle across right. Thread the needle and draw the right thigh towards you, and same thing, straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. And start to move the foot to feel into the ankle. And clicks going on. And then exhale, release. And then you're going to hug your knees into your chest, and you're going to rock backwards and forwards 3 times using your tummy muscles until you come to sit. And now we're going to actually come onto your hands and knees. So place it, you're coming into tabletop, so that's hands under shoulders, knees under hips. But we want to always make sure, as soon as you start to put weight through your hands, that you keep your wrists safe. So you want to make sure that your index finger is pointing directly towards the top of the mat, and then spread your fingers from there. So lots of you, I'm repeating this, but for our new people, so spread your fingers and thumb from the index finger, and then you're like a tree frog, suctioning the finger knuckles, the palm, the pads of the fingers down. And then we're going to take the left leg back and touch the ball of the left foot down. And then push through your palms. You're going to push yourself backwards into the ball of the left foot, so you feel a stretch up the calf. You're pushing down through your hands. And then little rocks forward and back, just feeling into that calf. If your knee doesn't like being down on the hard mat, you can pad it with your towel or flip the mat over to a little extra padding. Okay, then come back to tabletop. And then the other side, so you're going to tuck the toes under and then straighten the right leg, bring the ball of the right foot down and push through your palms, lean back, push back. Feel as if you're squeezing your kneecap at the same time, so you feel the energy in the leg. And then start to rock forward and back, just little pulses into that calf muscle. Okay, then come back to tabletop, toes tucked under. You're going to sit back on your heels. So you want to bring the weight down through your hips. So this might be really intense. If your calf muscles are really tight or you've got issues with your feet, then you might want to come forward. You could even have your block in front of you to take some weight. But we're trying to stretch the plantar fascia, the sole of the foot. If that's a bit intense, you can come right forward. And in fact, everybody come forward. Point your toes. Draw the heels towards each other so they're not folding out to the sides, and then sit back on your heels. Hands beside your thighs. Press down, and you're going to lift your knees up. Press down through the tops of your feet. So you might want to do this one at a time if it feels a bit too intense, but we're stretching the front of the ankles, and then knees down. Come back onto the balls of your feet. So tuck your toes under, but this time we're going to come up onto the balls of our feet. Your feet are hip distance apart. And this is a bit of functional mobility as opposed to yoga, but just the feet are so important. If you've got issues, very tight and sore feet, then you have issues with all the joints stacking up above it. So from here, fingertips in front, you're going to start to lower your knees, but not all the way down, just so you feel that stretch between the toes and the ball of the foot. And then you can lift your knees up. So just a little rocking. So the plantar fascia is this connective tissue on the bottom of the foot. And the Achilles tendon inserts into the bottom of the heel and then halfway up the calf. So this is helping to release any tension there. And then drop your knees. The last time you're going to sit down through the heels. So even trying to sort of pull your toes, make sure all of them are touching the mat. Okay. And then we're going to come to stand. We come to stand at the front of your mat. And we're going to go through our half salutes. So flow yoga is based around the sun salutes, Surya Namaskar. So sun salute A, we're going to do half of it to start. So we're not going to step back, but just to warm up, start warming up the body. So stand with your feet hip distance apart in mountain pose. So that's your soles of the feet squarely pressing down. You can lift your toes and spread them, place them down. So you really feel that connection to the earth. Feel that energy traveling up. Squeeze your kneecaps. Feel your thigh muscles engage. Draw up through the pelvic floor. Navel draws in, lift your chest and slide your shoulder blades down your back. And then just notice where your head is in relation to your body. So you want to draw through the back of the head so you're not letting the head jut forward. And from here, you're going to inhale, bring your arms up, and then bring your palms to touch, lift your chest, turn the head to look up. And then we're going to fold forward. So inhale, you'll lean forward. When you get to a point where the hamstrings are really tight, you can then bend your knees a little to release that pressure. Let the head hang, fingertips to the mat. Then we'll inhale to halfway lift. So straighten your legs, bring your palms into your shins, straight arms, and you'll look up and turn your tailbone up as much as you can to the ceiling. So you really feel your hamstrings, calf muscles lengthening. Use your core, draw it in, and then we're going to fold again. So if you can do this with straight legs, you'll curl inwards with your palm down. Otherwise, bend your knees, fingertips down, let the head hang. And then we're going to rise all the way up to standing. So straighten the legs, squeeze your core, reaching up, palms to touch, look up. And we're going to fold again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift, straight legs, palms into shins, look up. And exhale, fold. Then inhale, all the way up to stand, palms to touch, and then exhale, hands to heart. So this time we're going to go through the whole sun salute. Not done it before, just follow along, copy everyone else. So standing in mountain. Inhale, bring your palms to touch and look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Looking up, tailbone up. And then now we're going to step back, but we're going to exhale, bend your knees, bring your palms to the mat and walk your feet back. And you're going to roll forward into plank and pause. So you're in high plank. Push the floor away, straight arms. Feel as if your shins and your forearms are hugging towards each other. And then drop your knees behind your hips. Hug your elbows towards each other and lower yourself to the mat. So we're trying not to banana down, trying not to let the hips hit first. Hands are now beside your ribs. Press the tops of the feet down so your kneecaps lift. Press the pubic bone down so you can now curl up into cobra. So keep your elbows bent, hug them in towards your ribs, shoulders away from ears and look forward. Then exhale, lowering down, tuck your toes, come to your knees and then lift up into downward facing dog. So down dog is a pose where we want the back to be straight first. It doesn't matter what the legs are doing necessarily. So everybody come onto the balls of your feet and bend your knees deeply. So you can lift your tailbone up to the ceiling. Your ears are between your arms, so the head isn't dangling too much, and press the floor away. Don't forget to really press into the index finger and the base of the thumb to keep those wrists safe. And now you're going to walk your feet towards your hands. And we're going back up the other way. So now it's halfway lift. So straight legs, palms into shins, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, standing up. Bring your palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart. And stand in mountain. So we can do one more. A little bit less description this time. So standing in mountain, feeling that full alignment, like those light reaching out through the crown of your head. Inhale, palms to touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to low press up. So bend your knees, step back. This is called chaturanga. So rock forward into plank. Drop your knees behind your hips. Hug the elbows in. Lower to the mat. Inhale to cobra. So palms beside ribs. Tops of the feet press down. So your legs are protecting your lower back. And then exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips up into downward facing dog. So bend your knees if you need to, come up on your toes. Press through the palms. Think of the breath, draw it in nice and deep. And then inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. Come to halfway lift. So palms into shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Palms to touch. And exhale, hands to heart. So that's the sun salute A. There's other versions. Okay. So we're going to work into our hamstrings a little bit. So the backs of the thighs. So feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees. Bring your tummy to your thighs and your fingertips down to the mat. Let your head hang. We're going to do elephant walks. So you're going to alternately start to straighten one leg. So say we're going to start to straighten the left leg, but you don't want to get it fully straight. You want to keep it slightly bent. But so you feel into the hamstring and then bend it again and straighten the opposite leg, or partly straighten. So just feeling into the hamstrings, and it's called elephant walk because from behind your hips will start to swing. So just keep on moving, just feeling that the length of that muscle, those muscles at the back of the thigh. Goes. Okay, and then halfway lift, palms into shins, straight legs, so feel the back of the legs, so turn your tailbone up towards the ceiling, draw the navel in, look up, and then bend your knees. We're going to come down onto our fronts. Sphinx pose. So Sphinx is with you're down on your forearms, and your elbows are under your shoulders, and your forearms are parallel. Tops of the feet are pressing down like cobra pose, so the legs are strong. So as you press your feet down, feel your kneecaps squeeze, and then you want to use your buttocks, so your glutes press down a little so the pubic bone presses into the mat. Keep that really strong. Push down through your elbows, lift your chest, and then as you draw that energy of the elbows back towards your hips, feel your chest draw between your arms. So this is a back bend, which is why you want to keep the legs nice and strong to protect the lower back in particular. So as you're drawing the chest through, then tilt your chin down so your neck is long, and hold. So let the breath come in, but keep that strength. So this is building strength in the back body. Keep pushing down through the forearms. And then exhale, lie down on the mat, reach your arms forward. Then we're going to take the left arm down by your side, so the palm down, and reach the right arm forward. Your gaze goes down, but the head is slightly lifted. And now you're going to inhale, keep the left palm on the mat, but you're going to lift the left leg and the right arm. So you get nice and long, it's a bit like Superman. Reach the left foot away, reach the right fingertips away. You don't need to lift the leg high, but just feel the strength you need in the back body. And then exhale, just rest a moment. We're going to do 3 more this side. So inhale again, lift the right arm, left leg, get nice and long. Keep breathing, and on the next exhale, relax down. And again, inhale and lift. Exhale, lower down. Now you're going to change sides. So bring the left arm forward and take the right palm down beside you. Inhale, lift the left arm and the right leg. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. So this is like working the top of the glutes, your QL muscle. Exhale, release. And last one, inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Now you're going to bring both arms down by your side. You're going to turn the palms to face up. Legs nice and strong. So like cobra legs, press the tops of the feet down so you feel your thighs squeezing. And now we're going to come into locust. So you're going to inhale, lift feet and legs, but try and keep your feet together. Reach your fingertips behind you, the palms facing up. So squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other and your gaze is down. So draw your chin down slightly. And exhale, relax down, turn the cheek to the mat. And then again, inhale and lift. Chin down. Squeeze shoulder blades towards each other. Try and draw your feet together. And exhale, release. Then bring your head to rest on your forearms. Turn your feet out. Just rock your hips a little, just releasing through the lower back. Okay. And then palms down, tuck toes under. We're going to come up into down dog. The down dog, you'll feel into it as to how the more you do it, the more you feel whether you need to take your feet back, you want to be a bit longer in your dog, a bit shorter. But whatever you're up to, you might find it easier to not have socks on so you don't slip, but up to you. And now you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet and then slowly come up to stand. Walk to the front of the mat. I always have a theme for classes, just so we do repeat the same poses, and I just mix them up in different ways. But generally, if there's a theme, it's like you can have the same pose, but you're looking at something different in it that you might not have noticed. So today we're focusing more on twists. So we want to say the theme is space and light. So one thing is that when we're in a twist, we might feel like you're compressing we're twisting whichever direction, whatever. You feel a compression, but you want to draw your attention towards the space in the other part of the body. So say we're going to come down into a lunging twist, but as you turn, you'll feel the shortness in one side of the body. So you draw your attention, you're going to try and pay attention to lengthening on the other side of the body rather than just like dumping into the shorter side. So it's like bringing that breath in there, so you really feel that the side of your ribs expand and so on. So that's the space kind of theme. And lightness as well is that when we'll come into poses where you're feeling a bit tired, and it might be like, say we come through runner's lunge and we want to get light, so you want to squeeze that energy towards the midline, so thighs squeezing towards that midline, lift up. So rather than this, like you're sinking heavy and you're just hanging in waiting for the next instructions, it's trying to get light. So using the muscles and engagement of the muscles to produce energy to get you nice and light and lifted. Okay, so from the front of the mat, we're going to step back into high lunge. So firstly, standing in mountain. Inhale, take the weight into your left foot, lift your right knee up, so a little balance. Point the right toe, bend the left knee, and shoot that right foot back for high lunge. So high lunge, you're on train tracks, so you're not on the central line, so have your feet hip distance apart. And then we're going to come straight down into low lunge, so you're going to drop the right knee down. You can bring your hands forward if you need to have some help to do that. So in low lunge, you want to make sure that well, actually, once the weight is down on the floor, this knee can come forward slightly, but generally we try and stack joints. So you want the knee over the front ankle, and then you want to have enough of an angle in the back hip. You can flatten the foot or have the toes tucked, whichever feels better for your knee. But as we sink our hips, you should really feel a lengthening in the front of the back leg. And slightly draw your tailbone down. You'll feel a little difference. It will tighten. It'll make it more intense, the stretch in the hip. And now we're going to draw the arms up and reach up. So the hands aren't just dangling. You want to reach the middle finger almost up to the ceiling. And you can keep your gaze forward, or you can start to lift your chest as you sink your hips and lean back a little. So a back bend. And rather than just raise your eyebrows, we're trying to lift and lean back so you feel the head is being controlled. And then exhale, bring your shoulders above your hips again, bring your palms together. And we want to press in, so feel that connection, elbows go wide. Draw your navel in, and you're going to lean forward. We're going to pause here for a moment. So feel what's going on. You might feel now more intensely the hamstring and glute in the front thigh. And we're going to draw the navel in, and then you're going to twist to the left. And now you might want to release the hands to you want to get the right elbow over the left thigh, and then bring the palms back together again. Keep sinking your hips. As you press into your palms, you're trying to leverage that twist. And then start to feel that length all the way up the right side. So as you're leaning away, twisting away from the right side, you want to feel that lengthening in the hip, side body. And then inhale, come back to center. So hands back to your heart, in the center, sink the hips. And then release the left hand to your thigh, bring the right arm up, reach up. So now we're getting space in here, the right side. You're going to now lean over to the left. So keep sinking the hips, reach up, lean over to the left. So feel more space. Every time you inhale, so there's more space in the right side of your body. And then exhale. Bring your fingertips down to the front of the mat, tuck the right toes under and step forward. And then slowly come to stand. And then we'll do the other side. So inhale from mountain, take the weight into your right foot, lift your left knee up. Point the toe, bend the front knee, shoot the foot back for high lunge. Separate onto train tracks. Right knee over right, well, sink the left knee down and then shuffle back a little with the back knee. So you've got that nice line. You can feel the length in the front of the left hip. Draw your navel in. Inhale, bring the arms up. Reach up. You can keep your gaze forward or start to lift your chest. Soften around the sides of the neck as you lean back. Look up between your thumbs. And then exhale, shoulders over hips again. Bring the palms together, press in. Draw the navel in, you're going to lean forward. So now you'll notice more the back of the front thigh. It's lengthening, but it's working. And you're going to draw your navel in and you're going to revolve to the right. And then bring that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Bring the palms together again. Press and really use the leverage to twist. Feel what's happening to the left side of the body, so breathing into those ribs, sinking the hips. And then inhale, come back to center. Right palm to the right thigh, lift the left arm up. Reach up, lean over to the right as you lunge. So it deepens that stretch through the front of the hip. Feel those ribs lifting as you breathe. And then exhale, fingertips down, tuck the left toes under and step left foot forward. And then slowly come to stand. So don't come up too quick. If the head's been down. Okay, if the legs a little wiggle. So we're going to do this in high lunge and then start to add on a few other poses. So we're going to step back into high lunge again. So from mountain, inhale, take the weight into your left foot, the right knee comes up. Step back to high lunge, draw your arms up. So press through the back heel, you're trying to squeeze the right thigh, straighten that back leg. Turn your gaze up. And then we're going to drop the right heel down, come into warrior two. So warrior two, you're now on the central line, so you wiggle your feet a little more. So left toes point directly forward, and the right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Sink down, so you want the knee stacked, left knee stacked a bit over the left ankle. And then your arms go wide. So squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, reach out through your fingertips, turn your head to look over the front hand. is warrior two, Virabhadrasana. And make sure you want to, rather than this, draw the backhand back slightly, so shoulders stacked over hips. This is external rotation of your thighs, so you should feel the inner thighs starting to warm up. And then legs stay exactly the same. You're going to now come into side angle stretch, Parsvakonasana. So keeping the legs the same, you're going to rest the left hand, left arm, and hold on. Right hand to your sacrum, lower back, because we're going to twist the right ribs up or roll them up to the ceiling. So you're going to roll the right ribs up to the ceiling. And try and be light on that front thigh. So try to just rest the arm, not the entire body. And then bring the right arm up and sweep it over your ear. So the palm is facing down. And then a little twiddle will turn the thumb up to the ceiling. So palm face down and the thumb. So it's like you're screwing the arm bone in to the shoulder. And then inhale, come all the way back up, warrior two. And then hands to hips, straighten the front leg and turn your feet parallel. We're going to go do the, actually no, we need. So we are going to do a little twist from here. So take your heels out slightly, so the outside edge of your feet are parallel. To draw up through the kneecap, so really squeeze the thigh muscles. And then hands to the bony part of your hips, not your waist. Bony part of your hips, you're going to turn the tailbone up. So you're rolling the front of the pelvis forward. And then come to halfway. So your back is flat, your gaze goes down. And then reach the arms down. Draw your navel in, start to curl inwards as you bring the fingertips down. So this is now your core. Relax your head. Draw up through the pelvis, so you're trying to feel into the backs of the legs. Rock your weight onto the balls of the feet more. Okay, now you're going to bring your hands to your hips. Little micro bend in your knees. So now we're going to do a twist. So with your feet wide, you're going to bring the right arm down. So you can bend your knees if you need to. You can even put your hand on your block. And then you're going to bring the left hand to your left hip and straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. Roll your ribs, your left ribs up to the left. So pushing the floor away, feeling into the right inner thigh, starting to roll the ribs up to the left. And then exhale, change hands. And then you're going to bend the right knee, straighten the left. And then exhale, bend both knees. Just a little micro bend in the knees, hands to hips. And then slowly come up to stand. And then heel toe to bring your feet inwards, so then you can walk back to the front of the mat. So standing in mountain. Inhale, bring the weight into your right foot, lift the left knee up, step back to high lunge, and then drop the heel down for warrior two, arms go wide. So you're on that central line, so the front heel should be in line with the instep or the heel of the back foot. Sink your hips, so front knee back, so make sure one cue is you want to be able to see your big toe on the inside of your knee, so you're not folding that knee inwards, but also keep the knee above the ankle. Reach out, squeeze shoulder blades, lift your chest. And then you're going to bring left hand to your sacrum, Rest the right arm on your front thigh. And then start to roll the left ribs up to the ceiling. Roll, almost tuck the right buttock under slightly. Keep bending, keep sinking the hips. And then you'll sweep the left arm all the way up and over, palm facing down to the mat. Little turn of the thumb up to the ceiling. Feel that length in the left side of the body. Be light with the body on your right thigh. And then inhale, steady belly. Come back up, bring your hands to your hips, turn your feet parallel. And then this time we're going to, so this time we're going to bend your knees slightly, fingertips down, and you're going to walk your hands over to the left shin. Draw up through the kneecaps now, so straight legs. And you're going to draw yourself, your torso towards your left thigh, but roll the right ribs up. Draw that right hip back. And then walk your fingertips back across the mat to the right calf, shin. And rolling the left ribs up, draw the left hip back. Then fingertips back to center, bend your knees slightly, hands to hips, coming up, and then bring your feet back together. So we're going to come into pyramid pose, which is helping to lengthen the outside of the thighs. So from the front of the mat, you'll take your left foot back and separate the feet hip distance apart. So your left foot, the toes are going to be pointing 45-degree angle. And then bring your hands to your hips. Draw your hips level to the front of the mat. So you're drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. And then lift your kneecaps. Squeeze. Draw in through your core. So lift the pelvic floor, draw the navel in, lift your chest. And then keeping the hips level to the front of the mat, you want to start to hinge forward. So what will happen is as you go forward, the left hip is going to want to swing back again. So we're going to try and keep it here. Draw up through the kneecaps, reach your chest forward. And you'll feel an intense stretch in the right leg. But keep rolling that left hip forward, use your core. So we're just coming to halfway, but we're trying to reach the chest forward. Press the base of the big toes down, and then draw your navel in. Inhale, come back up. And then change legs. So if you're more flexible in your hamstrings, the back of the legs, you can fold all the way forward, or you can bring your hands to the block, however you want to go. But we're just, at the moment, just trying to feel where you might have tension and just knowing what are the poses that work good for you to help release that. So level the hips to the front of the mat, draw up through the kneecaps, lift your chest, engage your core, hinge forward, gaze goes down. So try not to, you might want to roll onto the outside of the left foot. So we're trying to press the base of the big foot down. Keep squeezing those kneecaps, keep the hips level. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale, step forward. From the front of the mat, inhale, take the weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee up, step back to high lunge. The feet on train tracks, right knee over right ankle. Squeeze the back thigh. Bring your palms together. And here, so just as we were doing in low lunge, but you've now got the balance issues as well. So this is really good for ankles, core strength, balancing. So keep your feet nice and wide, so to give yourself a bit of a broader base. So you want to lift your chest and press, almost pressing your hands and your thumbs and your chest in towards each other. And then lean forward. Pause here a minute, so feeling lengthening in the thigh muscles. And now you're going to, without touching the elbow to the thigh, you're going to twist to the right. And just, you want to see, you can release the hands away from your chest if you need to, but you want to see how far you can twist round without using the leverage like we were using before when our knee was down. And then inhale, come back to center, and then lift your chest. So you're up and step forward. It's called like passive and active twisting. So when we were down on the ground and we were able to do this, we weren't actually using our muscles, our active muscles to do that. We were using leverage to turn. So we're now doing it the hard way, which is to see how our muscles can turn us without any additional help. So other side, inhale, weighting to the left foot, lift the right knee up, step back to high lunge. Hands to heart, so pause here a moment, really feeling into this, engage the core, sink the hips. Lean forward. Keep the breath coming nice and steady. Try and straighten the back leg. And then we're going to lift the chest, press into the palms and twist. So you can twist and tip. It's like you don't have to stay high. You can drop the right elbow down, but breathing into this, and then inhale, come back to center, and exhale, step the right foot forward. And then we're going to come down to sit. So legs out in front of you. And take your block, bring the block between your knees. Thin way. Lie back, bridge. So have your arms by your side, but you really want to use your arms. Press the arms down, the palms down, and feel as if you're drawing your shoulder blades down onto the mat. And then as you inhale to lift your hips, you're going to rock the pelvis back. So press the lower back down into the mat, and then lift your hips up. So I thought so, but heels should be under knees, not too far away from knees. And then squeeze the block. So you want to feel that inner thigh squeeze, squeezing inwards, but lift your hips. Breath. And then exhale, slowly lower down through the vertebrae, so your hips come down last. And we could do that again. Inhale and lift your hips up. So nice and high as you can go. So you can almost feel the lengthening in the front of the hips. Squeeze your glutes, dig your heels in a little, that's your hamstrings. Keep breathing. And exhale, lowering down. And then this time, with the block still between your knees, we're going to work through the glutes. So you're going to inhale into bridge, lift your hips. Use your arms, really pressing down. And then you're going to lift the right leg. So keep your thighs parallel. So keep your arms by your side. Squeeze the block and then really press down through the sole of the left foot. So that's your left glute you're working. You're trying to keep the hips level. Squeeze, 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 lift those hips, and then exhale, foot down and lower down through the vertebrae. Hips down last. And then the other side. Inhale, lift your hips, lift the left leg. And see, watch your own body here. So seeing, you might be stronger one side than the other. So like if you're a runner or anything, you'd notice if one glute is weaker than the other, then you're going to have issues with feet, ankles, hips, and so on. So it's all connected. And exhale, release the foot down. Lower the hips, remove the block. And then just take your feet apart, knock your knees together, so knees bent. Bring your hands other way, so knock your knees together, feet apart, hands to your stomach, close your eyes. And keep your feet apart. We're going to do windshield wipers. So take your arms wide, palms down, and then roll your knee. Keep your feet wide, but roll your knees to the right. Just drop them down. Roll your head to the left. And then following your own breath, as you inhale, knees and head back to center, and then exhale, change sides. So just feeling that rotation in the hips. Just releasing through the lower back. And then we're going to come into Shavasana, corpse pose, relaxation. So put your warm things on, put the heaters on. And then just lying out on the mat with your feet out to the corners, let your arms relax by your side, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Just to keep you mindful for these last few moments, I'll play a mantra. It's like a little repeated poem, just to keep your attention within for the last few minutes.
I stay so far. I stay so far. I stay so far.
Slowly bringing your awareness back to the sounds around you, starting to make small movements, fingers and toes. Bring your feet together, stretch your arms over your head. And then curling onto your right side for a moment. And then coming to sit with your eyes closed, facing me. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Bring your palms together at your heart center, lowering your head and opening your eyes. And then we say Namaste, which means the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.